Doctor Strange 2 is now in theaters, and we're thinking what happened to the extra 30 minutes that were originally in the film. Sam Raimi explained that the film was about 2 hours and 30 minutes, but it was cut to 2 hours, as well as they reshot some of the film, and it was different. He said the following: well, the first cut was, I actually don't remember the length of it. It was probably like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it slowly came down even though we did the reshoots. We took out material, even though the reshoots went in. So it slowly got down to about 2 hours and 5 minutes is the total. So this is huge because going from a leaked plot, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about in a moment, we know that there was a lot of things that were deleted from the film. Now, Michael Waldron explained the list of the characters in the Illuminati. He said the following: for the Illuminati, did Marvel Drafts basically give up a list of characters that were available and tell you to have added? He says, no, that scene was not even in my outline. I just wrote it in the script and they were like, this is cool, we should do it. And then it was a constant back and forth of figuring out who's the right mix of characters, who makes sense to actually be in an alternate universe Illuminati, and who we ended up with felt like that was the impossible group. He says, we never thought we had all those people, but we did. Now, Lost August, there was a leaked plot that had a different beginning as well as the ending. The plot was the following: the beginning of the film was different, as the beginning of the film was Murdo hunting Wanda with a magical bow, but Wanda ends up killing him, so this was huge as well. Why they changed this is a big question. There's also a chase at the beginning that had Wong, and this is actually Defender Wong, so it was as well changed. Now the conversation of Wong, Strange, and America Chavez was not in a roof, and it was in an alleyway. This is from a photo that we have. During the conversation of the pizza, Strange has a dream of a dying Wong, so it was as well deleted. The original member of the Illuminati had Volver the Brave, but as well was changed. There's something different with a whisper, but we don't see that, as just Strange at the end just talking to America Chavez. There's a scene where Wanda goes to Camertage and enters the mind of the weak. Sorcerer was later in the film, not at the beginning, so this was as well changed. Rentroll also gives a speech about how Wong never gave up on them. At the end of the film where Wanda goes to her kids, it was a zombie looking Wanda, but as well they changed it to a normal appearance. Now the end of the film was Billy and Tommy in the MCU timeline, so this was going to be huge. Why they changed this is a big question, but again guys, this is a plot that leaked in August of last August, and it had like 90% of everything that we see in the film, excluding those deleted scenes that were changed. Now, what's the film going to be different? Well, yes, he says, Michael, the writer, about how Wanda was not going to be the initial villain. He says the following: well, there was a diversion where she was more of, and I even did an earlier draft where she was more of a member of the ensemble and turned bad by the end. And it always felt to me like it was just hedging. There was never a way to service her and fall from grace properly as a supporting character in the movie, because there had to be a separate antagonist, and it also felt like we were leaving the biggest bit of fun on the table for somebody else. And truth be told, having watched and experienced and studied WandaVision, I feel like she was at the point in Possession of the Darkhold where she was ready to break bad. She had reached that point that reaching the comics, and that we could believably pull it off. Okay, talking about cameos, which is of course really important, was Namor ever a possibility? We talk about him because he's certainly an original member of the Illuminati, but I think Marvel has other plans for him in the MCU, as we know he's going to be in Doctor Strange in Black Panther 2, and so he did not make his way in this particular movie. Now, it was original that Elizabeth Olsen told that she was supposed to kill more people, and he says the following: well, there was more people, maybe not necessarily in that sequence, but I talk about her as a kind of a T-1000 in that assault on Camertage. She's unstoppable. So yeah, there's maybe stuff that we never even shot, but a cool little one-on-one fight between her and some of these sorcerers. There was an amazing concept art that we never actually shot. Oh, that's so sad. Now, Waldron said that Raimi and Marvel Studios and Feige were originally asked if Patrick Stewart said no, they were originally going to bring back James McAvoy, but as we can see, they were able to get Patrick Stewart. So it's worth noting that the Illuminati roll call differs in Marvel's comic book universe. Tony Stark is among the group founding members, and Waldron had a novel idea of who could play an A33 version of Iron Man, He says a choice that dates back to the earliest days of the film's development. He says, I remember reading any cool news and coming attractions back in the day, and they'll say that Tom Cruise was going to play Iron Man. He remembers that at some point I said, let's get Tom Cruise as Iron Man. He says he was already shooting the Mission Impossible sequels, so I don't think he was ever in the cards, he admits. But as we can see, Otwell, who is also starring in both Mission Impossible sequels, found room in her stunt-heavy schedule to suit up as Captain Carter. He says we were lucky to get the other stars of Mission Impossible. But yeah, that was totally made up. I mean, there's no cut footage of Tom Cruise, but I love Tom Cruise, and I said to Marvel, at some point, could we get Tom Cruise Iron Man? So let's see what happens in the future. Now, talking about the big one, talking about Deadpool, he says, yeah, we talk about it. I think we talk about everything in this movie, so it would be crazy not to raise that. But it ultimately did not feel like, it just don't feel like the right place. But yeah, of course we talk about it. How can you say no? It's not, it makes sense to add this character. But I know that the direction that they were gonna go with this film, which was more about, Wanda versus the Illuminati. So adding Deadpool and all that, it was not gonna click. But hey, hopefully as well in the future, we're gonna see Deadpool as the multiverse is more bigger than before. Now, there's some scenes that were not in the film, like The Crow, as well as the incursion in the scene where Strange visit and he was destroyed following an incursion. The president. Now, when Mordo says your desecration of reality will not go unpunished, that is not as well in the film. So what happened to that phrase? We also see where Sinister Strange says things just got out of hand. As well, this is not in the film. Wanda saying this is going to be fun, as well as not in the film. So there's a lot of things that were deleted. So it makes me to see what's going to happen in that deleted scenes that are going to be in the Blu-ray. So we'll have to wait for that.
This is going to be fun.
Every night, I dream the same dream. The nightmare begins. Affect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange.
Mission of reality will not go unpunished.
Things just got out of hand.
But what are your thoughts on this deleted scene? Leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Christian from Beyond Premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, one.